welcome to Love Talk. I'm Samantha Jayne Love, and I'm your host today. And I'm here with the incomparable Tracey Cecil. Welcome, Tracey. Thank you for coming on Love Talk.
My pleasure. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. So I have known Tracey for a couple of years now. We met through doing a what were we doing? We were doing the temples. That's I think when
Yes,
I actually met you. Yeah, so the Starlight Temple cards, the beautiful cards by Divana Ilandrianda. And that's where we met, and that was probably about 2 years ago, roughly?
Two? Yeah, I'd say it would be 2. Yeah, it would be 2. Yeah, definitely 2. Yes.
Yeah, so we have lots of people that we have that are all connected within our circle. So it's really wonderful to have her on here. And Tracey has got a plethora of modalities that she uses, but she's most known for being a HypKnoWitch. Tracy,
yes.
Explain that to us.
Okay, so I'm a HypKnoWitch. So what that means is if you break it down a little bit to the word HypKnoWitch, which I've spelled HypKnoWitch with no in the middle, so KNOW for knowledge. So hypno being hypnotherapist, so I'm a hypnotherapist. Knowledge in lots of other modalities and a lot of healing modalities as well. I'm a Reiki Master as well. So, and also I'm a qualified counsellor. I'm a Reiki Master. I'm the hypnotherapist, NLP coach, family freedom protocol coach, and the list goes on. So I won't bore you with all that. But I'm also a witch, and I studied. That was probably the first thing that I studied. That got me onto the path of everything else. So I did just wake up one morning and go, oh, I'm a witch. I actually did a fair bit of study in that area. So the word witch I have found has had a very negative connection, and my mission is to actually change that connection, because it was healers and midwives and us women that got a bad rap and given the name witch. Okay, so as much as I'd like to take the word witch completely off, I walk the path of the witch very proudly, because it's about empowering women again. And so if they're going to give us that name, we may as well use it. Now, another name for witch is also energy bender. Okay, so we actually shift and bend energy, and so that's what we do as healers. So we transform energy into something else. So we can't shift energy completely out. We've got, it's encompassed all in one thing, but we'll have negative and positive energy. And what we want to do is we want to change negative energy into positive energy. So after many, many years, I've been teaching the craft as a witch for a long time now. I think coming up to 10 years, I'm not really sure. And with working as a Reiki Master as well and teaching other people Reiki, I teach tarot. I work as a tarot reader, and I have been doing that for over 10 years as well. I've been in the healing industry for over 30 years. I started when I was 2. Okay?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
All right. So what I did, what a HypKnoWitch is, I just decided that we need to have something that we can fast track all the work that I've done over this 30 years. And once people understand that we are all energy and that we are no different than a tree or a little plant that's growing in the garden, that we still rely on the energy of our environment. So once we understand how to follow the seasons and know that they affect us, the same with the moon. So I teach how to follow the sun around the wheel of the year. The moon follows the sun around the wheel of the year, which is quite interesting when we come to relationship alchemy.
Yes.
Moon being feminine energy. the masculine energy being the sun.
Yeah.
The sun leads, right, around the wheel of the year. The feminine energy is led by the sun. So I'll just let you ponder on that for a little bit. So this is why it's important to understand the masculine and feminine duality and why we need both.
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is how HypKnoWitch come to play. So I call myself now. I would call myself a HypKnoWitch. Within HypKnoWitch, I teach the wheel of the year, the moon phases, what the creed of the witch. So basically, that it's harm to none, including ourselves, and what that actually means. Every spell is just a process, and we do spells all the time. So it's about getting people to understand that rituals and spells are just a process. A ritual is just a change that we go through. So we start as one state, we make the transition in the middle, and then we end up in another state. So we're changing the energy of the state that we're in. So I've now came up with a new name for my program, because the whole thing was called HypKnoWitch, but I've changed it to the power to grow and flow, because we need to learn to when to set intentions and when to release. Okay, once we actually know when to do it, write down. We can work it. There I go. Listen to that. Listen to that. Just stumble. My brain's going faster than my mouth. Okay, so I'll just take a breath. Ground and center. I get excited about this stuff.
I love it that you're this passionate about it. So perfect.
So basically, that's what a HypKnoWitch is. So I teach you to connect to the energy around you. We can actually break it right down to the hour of when we should be doing things, releasing and bringing in. So that's part of it. So knowing when to manifest, when to sit back, when to be silent. It's the most important part of it. So that's what a HypKnoWitch is. So it's the knowledge to know, it's the knowledge of the energy around you. It's about bending and shaping that energy to how you want to feel. And it's also about being able to put somebody into the state to make these things happen. It's quite funny. When I first started out as a hypnotherapist, I went off to a free hypnotherapy show and training, to see what it was like. And I took my daughters with me, and two of my daughters and my husband. And the whole way through, they kept going, that's what mum says. That's what mum does. Because my thing is now that witches have been hypnotizing people for years. So it's all about knowing to go into the unconscious mind, and that's where we get the release. That's why we call it shadow work. Okay, so going into the shadows to release what we need to release and know what element we need to use to do that. Really, really important.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so that's what a HypKnoWitch is. I guess I know what I am then.
That's perfect. So when will you have your next course running, and is it online or is it face to face for people?
It's going to be, I'm going to do it a little bit different. I also teach the Celtic year in a day. I actually put the feelers out not a few weeks ago about doing a year in a day online, but nobody was prepared to commit, and I get that. So what I'm actually going to do now is I'm going to do mini little workshops on teaching the craft. So, for instance, starting with the tools of a witch or the tools of setting up sacred space, whatever way. The wheel of the year would be a different one. Cycles within cycles would be a different one. All that sort of stuff, so that people can do them and they don't have to commit, and they'll be ran differently. With the power to grow and flow, I actually take people through those programs at the moment. But if you want to become a practitioner in that, I will be actually starting that training up again. So with that program, you get all the information of a HypKnoWitch stuff anyway. So the manuals, but you don't necessarily get to go through it. So it's a good idea to get on and learn what it is without, does that make sense? So you'll get all the information, but it's nice to do the practical side of it, or to get on. And with that, you'll get into a group and you'll be able to go through that, follow the wheel of the year. So it's be a nice sister circle that we do.
It's really nice to get to learn how to really embody a practice before you start to teach it as well. I feel that when we do practices, the more that we do it, the more that it's in our being. And it could be that it's something that you have a remembering of, that you may not have done it in this lifetime. Might have been something that's really your thing in another life.
And that's what I teach. You don't learn to be a witch or a Celtic practitioner, I would call it, if you want to do it that way, because I teach the Celtic magic, the old traditions from the Celts. So don't learn, it's an awakening. You awaken that part of you. So it's a knowing, and that's why there's no in the middle. It's once you actually awaken it, then it all falls into place. Also, by walking through the seasons or walking through the moon phases, you get to feel it and you get to embody it, so you get to understand it. We do things like understanding spirit of place and understanding, so we understand the energy around us and within us. So a lot of modalities will teach you your own energy, but they don't teach you how it's connected to your environment, and vice versa. So we need to blend both too. And that's what the elemental repair process is. So I actually take you in to a trance state. We then go into the unconscious mind, and we visit all the hidden realms within ourselves, which are also connected to the elements. So therefore we have an understanding. We talk to that archetype of ourselves that is in trauma, and we actually ask it once it wants to release, and then we actually we release it on the inner and the outer, and then what we do is we ask, what, now that they've gone, what does it want to build? And so it's a nice, take you into a magical circle in your unconscious mind. You meet all the keepers of your unconscious in each archetype of, and the unconscious mind loves it because it's all fantasy and it's all beautiful, but it's not really fantasy because it's true, of course.
It's true. It's there. Your inner knowing. It's beautiful.
So that's what we do.
I'm looking forward to having one done for myself, actually.
You'll enjoy it. I'm getting lots of wonderful results with people that are doing the elemental repair process. So we do the lower realms first, and then we do the higher realms, so the lower realms from the heart center down, the connection to our physical form, our earth element, and then we actually do the higher realms as we head into the ethers. So that's where we keep all our the throat chakra, where we keep all our inner child stuff locked away, the hidden contracts. So by working with the lower realms first, we allow ourselves to be more open once we get up into these higher energies to actually allow ourselves to release. So it's quite amazing so is
that done in one session, or is that in a couple of sessions?
So the lower realms we do first, and that's a 2-hour session, and then we do the higher realms. And the beauty of this work too is it can be done online, so you don't need to be face to face. So
and would that be done 1 week? How much of the time lapse would be?
It can be done 1 week and then the next week, but and if you did the program, that's the way that we would do it. But then a lot of my clients are doing the 1 week and then sitting with their new learnings for a month, and then coming back and doing the higher rounds, because that way they're feeling like, oh well, I can embody it and I can really get myself right. And then if I feel like I need to do the rest, then I can. So
beautiful.
and as a practitioner, you can learn to do all them separately as well. So sometimes you might want to take a client through each one differently. So there's lots of different ways that you can do it. So one day you might work on the just on the earth element.
Beautiful.
Okay, so yeah, so and then maybe later work on the inner warrior in a spot, and so with the fire element. So I needed fire work. I worked out why I was having so much trouble with fire, because I don't know if you know that I fell into a fire about 2 months ago.
Yes.
And I've just figured, and I've had lots of different little experiences with fire, and it was only yesterday or the day before that I figured out it's because of my boundaries. It was a bit like going, you need to set better boundaries. So I was like, oh, aha moment. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny when we have our own aha moments, even though we've got all of this knowing within ourselves, and we're like, oh.
Yes. And it took me taking another person through it was going through family freedom protocol again, and and buddying up with someone else, that they actually got me to get the realization of, it's fire. That's why. That's what was happening. So it's quite amazing. Yeah. So that's.
Yeah, so for those of you that are listening in and don't know what Family Freedom Protocol is, it's a beautiful process. It's an 8-step process that both Tracey and myself are master practitioners in, and it is absolutely mind-altering, body-altering, everything altering. So, yeah, I'll put links for all of these things below afterwards for anyone that wants to get in touch with Tracey or wants to ask questions about any of the processes that we've been touching on. So let's get to know Tracey a little bit better. What is Tracey's favourite thing to do? So if Tracey's got no clients or anything else, where would Tracey be?
I would be walking in nature. Yes. It's my go-to. That's where I was this morning. I went for a nice walk down by the creek near us. I love being around the trees, water. I love being, if it's not the creek and the trees, it's down by the beach. I love the ocean. I'd love to live there one day, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I'm sort of between both. So I love just being near nature. That's my favourite thing to do. It's what I do, and that's what kept me sane right through the whole of lockdown. We have a beautiful botanical gardens where I live, and it's got gum trees and a river through it, and it's got the whole bit, and that's where I spent most of my time walking in the botanical gardens. Just to get that. Yes. So that would be me. And second would be spending time with my grandchildren. So
how many
together would be. Sorry?
How many grandchildren do you have, Miss Tracey? Even though you're only 32?
Yeah, I'm only 32, and I have six grandchildren. I've done really, really well. I mean,
really well.
To produce 6 grandchildren, 4 children, and 2 stepchildren. So there you go. So, yes, so that's me. Yes. So 3 girls and 2 boys and 3 girls. No,
beautiful.
What did I say? 4 girls. I can't add. By the way, I failed maths. So there you go.
That's
4 girls and 2 boys. Yeah, is my grandchildren, and I have 3 girls and 1 boy. Yes.
Beautiful.
So, so beautiful. Very blessed, very lucky. Yes.
And what would be your go-to? I'm just letting my questions pop in intuitively to myself. So what would be your go-to crystal if you're having a flat day?
Mine would be amethyst. I love amethyst. So I've got amethyst everywhere. I've got amethyst behind me here.
Yeah.
When I'm feeling fat, and amethyst, but I really, really love obsidian as well. I find that obsidian actually helps bring everything to the surface. So quite often, if I'm feeling a bit stuck, I would have obsidian. But amethyst is such a old. It used to be. Did you know amethyst is the old love stone before rose quartz?
Oh.
So, yes, and it's very, very protective as well. So I really like amethyst. It's a gentle protection, connection to your spirituality, and it was also the old love stone. The way that I found that out was when I was researching for a ritual, because I marry people as well. So I'm a celebrant as well. So I was studying for, I was researching what crystal they were doing a plant ceremony, like planting a plant.
Okay, yeah.
But they also wanted extra bits in it with crystals, so they chose an amethyst and a rose quartz. And when I was studying it, it was actually the first that was the love stone before rose quartz. So that's really, really interesting.
There you go. And well, of course, it's my birthstone, Miss Love.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah,
Wonderful. Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. So amethyst is your birthstone?
Amethyst is one of my birthstones. Yes.
Excellent.
I'm a February baby, so and a Pisces. So,
yes. Yes, my daughter's a Pisces. Yes. Very floaty.
Very flirty, yes.
Yes.
I will take that, and I will tell people about that now, because that makes lots of sense.
Please
why
do.
my rose quartzes and my amethysts like to sit together.
Yes. So quite interesting. Yes. So so that's very good. Yes.
Well, and so if you were just talking about your now I cannot talk. A host that cannot talk. Being a celebrant. So that's a recent thing for you as well. You've done a couple of weddings now. Tell us about the types of ceremonies that you do.
I do all types of ceremonies. I also do funerals as well. But I do all types of ceremonies. My favourite ceremonies are the old Celtic ceremonies, along the lines of the pagan traditions. So I love doing hand fastings, and I love doing jumping the broom and all those types of things, which are from the Celtic traditions and the pagan traditions. But a lot of so I incorporate one of my gifts, I guess. And when I did my training, they said to me, "Do you understand what your gift is?" And I said, "No." Why would I? And that it was the rituals, my rituals, that I incorporate rituals very, very well into ceremonies. So and make it very much about the people that are getting married and not about me for a start, but the ritual and so therefore bringing that meaning into a visual meaning into what's going on for them is a great way to do. And I write rituals very well. I've had years of practice, so I'm writing up moon rituals or the summer solstice or the equinoxes or whatever else I'm doing. I write them very, very well. So and perform them very, very well. That's what comes with being a high priestess. So so that would be, I do lots of different weddings. So I can do your traditional wedding all the way down to your not so traditional wedding. If you wanted to dress as Superman and stuff, I could do that as well. So it's awesome. I did a wedding just recently, and they love minions. Okay, so they even had a minion cake. One side was minions, and the other side was beautiful flowers. And because of COVID, they actually didn't have it as a real cake. They had it done in polystyrene and all decorated in case it didn't happen. And they had a little cake that they cut up. But because she loves minions so much, I did a letter from the minions because they couldn't be at the wedding, and with all these minion quotes. So there's lots of different things that you incorporate into weddings to make it their own personal touch. So so that's what I do. And I love it. I love it.
That's awesome. I've actually I've got my 10th wedding anniversary coming up, so I think I will be high priestess to assist me in my my mission.
So wedding vow renewals, naming days. What else do I do? Naming days, commitment ceremonies, because some people still don't necessarily want to get it done legally. Funerals, memorials, gender reveals, so with babies, so with that, and some of the really, really awesome, I do house blessings and clearings as well, so all that sort of stuff. And also one of the biggest ones is I did one for my granddaughter when she turned 10. She wanted to have fairies, so we did a birthday party, but we did it, gave her dragon fae name. So we did a ritual on that. So we used the elements and all that sort of stuff to keep her magic alive. Adults have done their goddess name, so they can do rituals around that, or commitment ceremonies to themselves is a really, really good one that's out there too. So it's quite amazing. So there's lots of different milestones that we can celebrate, and we should, because it keeps our memories. Any time that we're going from one state to another state, we go through a transition. We do it in healings. We do it all the way through our life. So all the way from birth to death, we do it. So, and rebirth in the middle.
Yes, of course. Yes. Wow, there is so much to this amazing woman. I am blessed to know her, and each time that I am blessed to be around her, I just have this all-knowing feeling from her. Like we don't even really say many words sometimes. There's just it's just a beautiful I don't know, a beautiful knowing, and that's probably the easiest way for me to put it into words. So thank you. She is one of in our circle, she's one of our go-to people for all of anything witchy. If we need to know, we will ask Tracey, because she is, the all-knowing high priestess that she is, and she is amazing. She makes me smile every time that I see her. And I will, as I said to before, if anyone wants to know anything about the programs that Tracey runs, I know that we are lucky enough to be locked down again for 7 days as of tonight. Yes, thank you very much. Woo! Next time. A time to reflect and relax, and if anyone needs to reach out, there's myself, any of the other people that have been on Love Talk, and we have such a large community of people that can assist. Tracey is, this high priestess, and can take anyone through any of these processes as well. I will put Tracey's details down. Thank you, my darling, for being on Love Talk. I love you. We love you.
I love you too. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
It's been a pleasure.
Love Talk, and we talk about what you love. Bye.
Bye.